And it looks like Noda is going to be your winner of this Portuguese Grand Prix.
is your champion. JJ splits the middle, gets past both drivers.
All right, I'm losing my voice a little bit because if there's anything that they know how to do here in FRL, it's get me excited and make me lose my voice. And for some reason, this Austria track tends to do that to people, especially me. Welcome everybody here to Split 1 of FRL. If you're new here, you're about to enjoy some of the most exciting esports that we have to offer here. And I've got something special to offer. ADGAMER, welcome to the commentary booth. How are you doing today?
I'm more than happy to be back. I just raced in Split 2. I can't wait to see what these drivers has to show us. It's going to be amazing. The weather seems kind of dark. Let's hope to rain could spice up the things. The drivers could let us know if it's going to rain or not. Just leave us by surprise. It's going to be amazing.
I I loved watching your race. Talk me through what your strategy was though, because you were the last driver to stay out on intermediates. What was the strategy there, or was it just a bad strategy call? Did you think it wasn't drying up as fast?
I honestly thought it was going to stay wet for a bit more laps. The safety car was having a bit of spray, so I thought, well, it's going to just stay wet for a couple of laps. I was faster than, I don't know who was P2, I'm sorry. For 2 laps, then just came back at me. My strategy was simple: survive. Well, it didn't turn out to be great. Let's see if the split one drivers have better strategy than me, which is more likely to happen.
Uh, I want to say that the strategy survive is probably the best strategy these drivers can have because once it dried up in split two, it was chaotic and I loved every second of it. So I'm thinking the strategy of just survive is what we're going to have to see here. What is the problem corner in your experience that is really going to catch these drivers out?
This track isn't that hard, but I think the most problematic track is probably the hairpin, the turn 3. It's the easiest corner to have a big problem. Or the last sector, the last corner, sector 2, and the whole third sector can actually be quite tricky, especially in the wets. I don't know if it's going to rain, but the track itself isn't that hard, which allows the drivers to push more. And when the drivers push more, it's easier to make mistakes. So expect the drivers who are pushing a lot to just have a bit of slides or even spins.
One of the things that I noticed with Split 2 is track limits played a huge problem for some of these drivers. And we're already seeing laps starting validating. Frederick validating his lap as Tazo comes around and sets a purple middle sector. So track limits we're going to have to watch through. Is there a big strategy for avoiding track limits, or is it just one of those things as you push, it's going to happen?
Well, the strategy to avoid track limits is to go slow, so it isn't a viable strategy. Just to be safe in some corners, it's easier to know track limits. So in that corner, you maybe back off just a tiny bit to maintain the cars in the facing the right way or within the track limits. It's a bit tricky to sometimes avoid the track limits invalidations. For example, the sector that Syntax has, the third sector, the second to last in the last corner, it's very easy to invalidate your lap there. Gelazny puts 0-4-0s, I think that guy is another level.
He's been dominating this season so far. He has let me refresh my memory here, a 58-point gap between him and his teammate. Mercedes, a team that usually doesn't have good luck in FRL, just decided, I guess they hired Toto for this season or something. They did something, and it's proved just to be good for them, because Tazo has a 38-point gap on Noda in P3. So, Mercedes deciding to throw some domination. Zelazny just showing great time there as they come around. First qualifying times going in, 13 minutes left to go. We saw the pole time in split 2 was a 103.98.
9. I don't know. I think it was 982 to be exact. I think. No, it's got. I don't know. It was in the 30.9. I don't know. It's something like that. So the first runs the less than a 1/10 behind. It's going to see some fast laps out there.
I'm scared to know. Bartha is getting a 5-place grid penalty there for a collision with Ignis. I wonder what happened there. I wasn't looking, so I didn't see it myself. All the drivers out putting laps in. Only a few drivers don't have laps, which is really interesting to me.
I think Bartha's got a penalty because I think Ignis is lagging. He's just teleported from 5 meters back on the pit lane. I
Huh.
don't know if it's a problem on their part, if it's a server. I don't know, but let's hope it got fixed.
We've always said this is the best game ever with no bugs, made perfectly every time. So the game
Yeah.
continues to prove us right on that. Let's talk for a second about JJ, the Ferrari driver. I think he's the favorite for this race, if I'm not wrong, but hasn't seemed to have really converted this season looking through. 2 did not starts, a DNF, only 2 top 10 finishes. So started 4 race and only had 2 in the points. Currently sitting P13 in the standings. What is he going to have to do this week? Do we think he's got it in him to win?
The JJ is an incredibly fast driver. I don't doubt his abilities. So I don't know if he didn't got the other the 4 races you told me that he raced. I don't know if 2 of them they didn't work out so fine, but he's an amazing driver. You see, he's P2 now in the quali. So we last season he was named the time trial master or something like that. So he's got pace, and as he invalidates on the last corner.
Uh,
It was going to be a fast lap also, was 040, I think. So if he can't do a lap, it's going to be a fast one. The problem is if he can do it. As Noda retires, I don't know if he's crashed or yeah, I think he stopped in the start finish straight. Weird.
very weird. A driver I want to talk about who can't seem to put in a clean lap at all yet is Frederick. Looking through just at his season so far here in Split 1, um, he's had 3 finishes, 2 races he didn't start, 2 DNFs, but in his finishes, he's always in the points. We're thinking points again for him, or what's kind of our thoughts for Frederick here?
Yeah, I need to talk about Frederick. Frederick is a really, really clean driver, an amazing driver. Really nice person also, but I don't know if that comes much on track. But yeah, I think he's got potential. It's only his first season in FRL, but I see he can go far. I believe in him to score some good points today. He's consistent driver. I raced with him, I don't know, 2, 3 times, and he's a fast one. Absolutely, he is. He's an incredible fighter also. A very clean driver, but fair driver also. I think he has potential to be one of the, if not fight for points, or even more than that.
Absolutely. As Barthos comes through, he was purple in the middle sector, so I got excited there. But he goes up into P4 with a 104.2. Zalazhina with a 103.8, currently leading by 0.3 of a second on JJ. So waiting on JJ to come out and throw a lap together at the moment. It looks like Maddie is on an out lap as well as he comes through the middle sector. So lots of drivers with varying strategies rolling around. I'm not for sure what. I don't know what's going to be the best race strategy, though. Are we thinking dry tires for the duration? Or has anyone told us what the weather is yet? Because I don't know what the weather is.
To be kind of, be kind of honest with you, I really don't know. But I see lots of drivers putting on the medium tires, so I don't know if it's going to rain. Let's say if it was going to rain, everybody want to be on the soft tires. So I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like needs to just be like stamped on my forehead or something because 3/4 of the time here, I don't know what's going on and I just roll with it. JJ's out on a set of mediums. 7 minutes to go here. JJ rolling on a set of mediums. So I wonder if he's going to set it at a time and try to run a medium to soft strategy, perhaps?
Yeah, I think JJ on the mediums could just confirms what we said. What we said is it isn't going to rain. Because if it was going to rain, of course, it would be everyone would be. Oh, as JJ spins.
Oh, commentator curse.
Yeah, sorry, JJ. It happened.
I,
I'm terribly sorry, but I think he is. Oh, just swerve a bit hard.
I'm sure we'll get a message about that one later. I'm on board with John Meister, who's coming around middle sector. Looking really close on time at the moment to what he's already set. I'm not sure if he's going to improve. He does also have traffic in front of him. I believe that is the McLaren of Debe right in front of him, who's on an outlap, but not moving out of the way. And John Meister invalidates at the last corner. It seems like during split 2, that was what we saw was last corner invalidations over and over again.
I'm sorry, I got a bit distracted because I just saw a message that Wasserschwein may quit racing in split 2.
Oh no, that's
That's some sad news. I'm sorry to kill the vibe, but it shocked me. If he chooses to quit, all our support is if it is with Passa. Just be happy, man. Garrett, an amazing driver, and I'm really sorry to hear what you said. But if it's your opinion, just we wish you all the best in FRL.
Absolutely, and we'll look and see how that develops through the week and touch on it next week. Definitely big decisions to be made there, and I'm sure it's one that will be discussed throughout the week before the decision's made. Looking here, 5 minutes left to go in qualifying, and Frederick, I think, is finally putting together a good lap as he comes through into the third sector on his hot lap. He put in a 105.0 and went for a second flying lap. Of course, the laps here are so short that you can go for multiple flying laps. And on his second flying lap, he improves to a 104.6 up into P13. Looks like every driver has put in a 104 except for 3 drivers, Jalajna and then the last 2 drivers that have put in a lap.
Yeah, Frederick told me to say this, but Frederick may not be true, but that's not my business. Frederick are the best driver on the grid. He told me to say this, so I don't know if it's true. Just it's out there. I wish you to be happy. He said you must say I'm the best driver on the grid, so I said it. Let's see if he can prove if he's wrong or right. So don't want to get political now, but
Frederick giving bribes, I see. We'll touch on that one later as well. As we go through, Tazo putting on a 103.7, just a few minutes left to go here in qualifying, and a gorgeous lap through from him, 3.5 minutes to be exact. So, lots of drivers coming out on track. Jack up into P3 with a 103.9. He's a driver we haven't touched on yet this week. Jack, of course, the runner-up in Season 3. Here so far in Season 4, he's tied right now with Noda for third place in the Drivers' Championships. Are we expecting a lot out of him this race? I don't know who to watch. Who do you think we should watch this race?
The usual suspects, the Mercedes, Jack, JJ is up in the mix also. For fixing, I really don't know what's happened to him. Is didn't leave the pits yet. The gamer also didn't leave the pits. Yeah, but the usual suspect. The top 4 in quali maybe could be the top 4 in the race. Those 4 also Noda is. I'm sure that he's going to. That P12 is going to be a lot higher in the race.
Absolutely. And Data spinning in the first corner, put in a good lap, put himself into P8, and then he spins in the first corner. 2.5 minutes to go, and disqualified for blocking the pit lane. FIA not happy he spun in turn 1, so we'll see what happens there. Choppa invalidating laps over and over again. He had pace to improve, but then invalidating. JJ on a final out lap. Just a couple minutes left to go. Of course, a lap is only around a minute around here, so it looks like here as we go through, it's a matter of just small mistakes that make the difference. A minute 50 here in qualifying, and JJ going to be one of the first drivers to start his final flying lap unless he does a double push, which it seems like for some of these drivers, because of how short the track is, a second push lap has actually seen them improving.
I think John Meister's on a good lap. He did purple second sector. Yeah, P7. Yeah. But he did a purple second, so I was watching him. I don't know if he's kind of mistaken the first sector. But it was a surprise to see John Meister put him up there.
Absolutely. JJ coming around, I call it turn 2. I know it's technically turn 3. It's the hairpin. Some of these corners that are labeled corners on this track aren't corners at all for these F1 cars. So as we watch JJ come through the start of the second sector, what I call turn 3, he's looking really strong so far. It's going to be very cat and mouse here through these final 50 seconds. All of our top 3 are out on a out lap currently, so they may catch themselves right near the end. In a good position as they're all starting their final flying laps. Jack just started his final flyer, and then Tadzo and Jalajne will start right behind him. JJ invalidating around the final corner, so unless he's going for a second push, that might be all she wrote for him.
I think it's going to... It's no other option just to push again. Yeah, but again, I don't know if it's going to rain because every driver now is on soft. So the driver's just meant to... know to play with us, to put us in a bit of hopes as JJ invalidates again. So I think it's going to be P4 for JJ. Unfortunately, but let's see if Adedai is going to go faster than him.
Looking at Jack here, Jack is going to be the first driver to set his final time as we go through. I believe Jack didn't improve those, so it looks like he could be in trouble. Fixing and having internet issues, I believe. Jack coming around the final corner and invalidating final corner, so that is over for him. Jalajne coming across. Can he beat his teammate here? And he does, a 103.669. It's a very good time from him. His teammates coming around here into the middle sector, so will Tazo be able to jump up in time and retake his teammate here, or are we going to see some team orders come in, and is Tazo going to back out of this lap? As he comes around, he's looking really strong on time at the moment, but it looks like he does back out of the lap. 103.7, so he holds on. Maddie comes across in P2 out of nowhere, though, as we see Syntex coming across the last straightaway. P7 there. Barthez DNFing, and looking at final couple of drivers to come across here. Bax retiring from the session. John Meister coming around the final corner, and he's backed out of the lap. So Qualifying over at the moment, Jalajna, Maddie, Tazo, Jack, JJ. Your top 5. Sort of
Wow.
predictable.
Manny just pulled a lap. I don't know from where. It's an amazing lap for him. I think we've got to put to having another split for those drivers. Top 4 are just almost 2/10 up on 5th place. As Santex is in P7, I would like to mention him because we talked about him. He didn't score any points, so I think maybe it's this weekend that he can put some points on the board. Let's see.
Syntax in a good spot, and that's your qualifying rounded out. So, predictions here. Do we think Jalajna will what's the word? Will he round this entire thing off?
He has the pace for it, no doubt. Uh, let's see. It's going to be interesting because Zelazny hasn't got his teammate behind. So I'm for certain that Maddie is going to put up a fight with him.
Absolutely. We're going to take a quick break here, and then when we come back, we're going to watch what's sure to be a race of carnage. All right. And we're still waiting on everyone to load up here for the formation lap. But the way things are looking at the moment, if I could show you tire strategy, I think that's going to be. I think the strategy is going to be what really gets some of these drivers. ADGAMER, what is your idea when it comes to strategy? Are you looking softs? Are you looking softs, mediums, 2-stop, 1-stop? What's the best strategy for the race?
Well, it really depends from driver to driver. Yeah, as I thought, the strategy is going to be 1-stop or 2-stop. I think in the 2-stop you can do soft mediums. It's going to be a bit more aggressive, but you surely can do that. Or just play the long run and just start on soft and just then pin for mediums. Completely liable strategy. Uh, I don't know if we're going to see much diversity in the strategies, as almost every driver starts on the softs. A couple of drivers starting on the medium. I don't know if they're going to invert the strategy and put the softs in the end of the race. It's going to be, let's say, fun to watch the drivers that put on the mediums because they are going to be really fast on the end of the race with new softs and a lighter car. Well, I think it's going to spice up things. As realizing is going really fast to the grid. No, but well, just playing the mental games realized me there.
That's something I've noticed that he tends to do a bit, and he doesn't seem to do a bad job at it, to be honest. So, looking here at the grid, the top 8 are all on softs. Dormati did his qualifying on mediums. Noda's on softs. Bax, Ignis, medium. Barthes, softs. And then it's really mixed up in the back half of the grid, the tire strategy. The takeoff here is going to be what I think is going to give us the idea of what's happening. So, we'll look here. Is Looks like we're still waiting on a lot of drivers to form up the grid here. At the
Yeah, it's kind
moment,
of weird because Jalazi was so fast to the grid, but it seems it's as Almighty left the session. I don't know if he's kind of some problems. Let's hope not.
Let's hope he gets back in quick as we form up here. 5 red lights dropping in, and I think we might be having some serious connection issues. But 5 red lights, we're underway here for this Austrian Grand Prix, and you can see already in the back, lots of chaos happening. 3 wide between JJ Jack and John Meister, and absolute carnage as people get shoved way outside of the sausage curbs. 3, 4 wide, chaos going through. So, first lap coming up the hill here to the hairpin, and things are still 3 wide up in the front, but it looks like front is JJ and Tazo drag race here as they come down, and it looks like at the moment side by side as they go through. Potentially this is going to be good, and Tazo around the outside here, not able to get past JJ, still having the advantage at the moment.
I think Gelazny dropped back because he left the session, then joined. So kind of puts him in an awkward position, but his teammate just flying. He's using out of ERS, but JJ is saving up. So we're definitely going to see an attack in the first corner. Or the second corner. It really depends. So let's see if he stays behind Tazo. We're only going to see like a dive bomb.
Maddie and Choppa having a dive bomb there. Choppa getting around Maddie at the moment, but they're still drag racing here down the main straight. Of course, no DRS for 2 laps, and Choppa losing out to Jack right there. Jack up to B5. Looking at the big winners and losers here, Gelazny has lost 10 positions from that connection error, and Maddie getting bullied out of the way from Noda. So, early days, lots of chaos. We know there's going to be a lot of passes, a lot of battles here. Tazo and JJ at the moment. Tazo back around JJ, so where does this leave the race at the moment? Because we're 2 laps in and it's already been chaos.
Well, you have to sound like like we know too, like chaos on the start, and just as JJ like kind of falls back. It's a sort of mistake, or got attacked by Sentex. Sentex up to P3, an amazing start from him. Didn't even see the overtakes, but like I said, I don't want to commentate curse Sentex, but he has potential to be up there.
Commentator curses are a great thing here. It looks like Insidious has spun back in the middle sector as we go through here. DRS now open, VSC now underway to help Insidious get some time to get through. And it looked like Syntax was having a run on JJ, so they're going to be real happy about what just happened. And gap-wise, things are really close here between the top 3, so this is going to be the battle to watch as we go through.
Well, it's close all the way to the grid. So yeah, basically the whole grid is minus than 10 seconds. So it's going to see, even on the midfield, it's going to be interesting. The 2 McLarens were very close at the start of the race. These 2 drivers that are used to racing together know the tips and tricks of each other, so let's see, as John Mice is down to P18, I don't know what happened to him. He was driving really slow. Maybe too much delta or...
Not for sure, but he did get a penalty for speeding through safety car right there. We're back underway, and it looks like Maddie running way wide here in the first sector. So lots of chaos here. Somebody spinning there. Ignis, I believe it was.
Yeah, it was Ignis.
This is a chaotic first few laps, and if split 2 gives me any sort of indication, things are not going to calm down in the least here, as DRS is now open, so this is going to provide plenty of passing opportunities for drivers. As we see going around here, Syntax only 2.5 tenths off of JJ, Pafixian and Frederick back in the back having a good battle. Frederick getting passed by Pafixian. Back up in the front, though, Noda has a run here on Jack.
As Frederick, you commented to cursed him.
Oh
He
no.
spawned in sector 2.
It looks like he's back underway, though. No issues at the moment. So, JJ, a 106.6, fastest lap so far on lap 5 of 36.
Gelazny is into the pits.
Early pit stop from him.
Yeah, he got damaged. He got damaged. The championship leader is having a troublesome race, as JJ is really close to Tazo and Centex really close to JJ. Let's see if it's a DRS train or some of overtaking opportunities.
A lot of times, as we saw in Split 2, if you get passed once, you get passed 3 or 4 times by multiple drivers, or if you start battling with someone and you don't get the pass done right away, it really costs you for a few laps. So as we look here, Tazo, JJ, Syntax, and Noda, and Jack even kind of forming a DRS train here, so if Tazo can't keep advantage of the clean air and really get going, he's going to be in trouble. And then there's a gap between Jack, Choppa, Bartosz, and then Pafixian, of course, right there with Bartosz. We'll jump back here and watch this. Pafixian losing out on the gap he had, in a VSC now deployed. So it looks like John Meister spins in turn 1.
Yeah, it was also True Hero, like, had no front wing. So it was just a culmination of situations. But we can all breathe for a second in the virtual safety car. The chaotic first 6 laps. It's going to be even more interesting in the next 30. Also to say, Bartosz in P7 in medium tires, he's in a good spot. So if he can play the strategy right, he may gain a few more places. As we are back to racing, and JJ is again the gearbox of Tazo. So these drivers are going to have a race-long battle. I'm already seeing it.
This is a great one to watch here, because I thought JJ had Tazo right after that VSC, because as soon as the VSC went back in, JJ was only a tenth or so off. DRS open here down the front straight, so JJ putting a lot of pressure here on Tazo into turn 1, backing out of it. JJ a smart driver and knows not to rush it. 29 laps to go, so JJ knows he's got plenty of time to get this pass done, but he needs to do something. He can't back out of it every time, and he's going to try to go around the inside here at the hairpin. He's going to hold Tazo. Tazo's going to stay wide. Tazo a little bit better. There might have been a little bit of a wheel touch there, but Tazo with the traction holding JJ back into turn 2, and then Syntax is right there now with a bit of a run, and we're looking here. JJ's going to try the inside here at the 3rd turn. No contact there, and Syntax right on the gearbox of JJ, trying to follow him around here. Is he going to follow him around? And it looks like Syntax is going to reserve himself to P3 for a moment, but Tazo getting past there and back under pressure.
Syntax spun. Oh no.
Oh no!
He retired. Oh no.
Oh, commentator curses.
I was really hoping for Syntax to do great, but it's racing. It's kind of unfortunate, but let's see. The other drivers are still pushing.
No safety car deployed for that incident with Syntax, which is really surprising to me. As we keep going here, lap 8. I cannot talk. We're on round 8, but it's also lap 8 now. So JJ with a good run here. Noda trying to have a run on Tazo. Noda diving it up the inside on both of them at the moment, and Noda backing out of it. Smart move from the Williams driver here, as Tazo tried to dive on JJ and backed out of it. So it looks like at the moment lots of really tight battles happening, and the battle for the front is anything but done, as Tazo dives it up the inside here of JJ. JJ staying wide, leaving plenty of space. Tazo not good enough traction coming off the corner, but they're still side by side as they go through, and Tazo on the outside now has to back out of it, and JJ holding on to P1 for another sector at least. I don't know if he's going to keep it another lap, but for sure another sector.
JJ takes his on medicine. The Tazo move that he tried to do is basically the same that JJ did to him lap before, but the execution of JJ was better. So as JJ is getting time to over half a second now, under half a second now, but Tazo is going to try to overtake him in turn 2.
We'll jump on board here because Tazo does have the run here on JJ. JJ, of course, deploying his ERS at the moment, trying to defend, and JJ is going to have it there. Tazo pushing him wide, forcing his way up into the place, and then, of course, Noda getting around as well. JJ having to move out of the way there and let Jack through. So bit of bullying there, it looked like, from Tazo, dropping JJ all the way into P4. And now Noda is going to get around the inside there and force Tazo a little bit wide. They're side by side as they come around here in the middle sector. Tazo's, of course, going to have the inside here, and he's going to do the same thing to Noda, push him a little bit wider than Noda's comfortable with. So Noda backs out of it, but for a couple corners, Noda up into P1. So we're seeing some good pace.
Very aggressive driving from these two. I don't know, but I don't know if it's correct, but it says here that Tazo has only 10% of ERS and Node has 30. So Tazo's in a bit of a disadvantage right now. He knows Note isn't going to overtake him in turn 1, so he doesn't even, just saves a bit of battery. He's going to deploy all of it on the second straight.
Second straightaway is where we've seen a lot of good passes here. JJ trying to get past Jack in the back, and Noda getting around Tazo before the turn even hits, but JJ and Jack battling it out there in the back. JJ taking advantage here, Jack into P4, and JJ gets real loose there.
Ooh, a bit scary from JJ. I almost saw him into the wall, but you have to remember that these are top drivers, quality drivers. Let's see, as Tazo is really close to Nota again. So, and JJ is chasing down Nota. He's on a mission to recover that P1 that he lost.
Absolutely. As they go through here, Zhelazny back in P17, unfortunately, for the driver that started on pole. He's way back at the moment, and his teammate is trying to hold on here. So very, very unlucky race so far from one of the Ferrari drivers of John Meister, and from Zhelazny falling way back. Looking here at winners and losers as I try to make sure we don't lose any sort of battles. Noda and Bartosz up 9 places each. Zhelazny down 16, John Meister down 10, and Maddie down 10 places. So very interesting as we watch Tazo have a dive on the inside on Noda and do the same thing to him that he did to JJ and just force him a little bit wide there. And for Noda, that could mean he loses P3, loses all the way down to P3 as Jack is up side by side as we go into turn 3 here. What I'm calling turn 3. I know it isn't turn 3, but I'm calling it. And Noda is going to push Jack a little bit wide. Jack a little bit better of a run off the corner, but Jack can't hold on to it. So Jack down into P3 now.
Yeah, these drivers love to get close to each other, but as I'm speechless between the driving of these drivers. I don't know if it isn't the most correct thing to say, but I'm speechless. The amazing fights, 5 for P1 with 4 cars. As Chopper is 2.6 seconds behind. He may even get close to fight for this position also. So
crazy battle happening here. JJ around Jack, finally around the outside. Jack backs out of it. Noda and Tazo battling. Noda able to hold on, but Jack gets a run back on JJ here. DRSs are now open, so can JJ get a better run here on Jack as they come through? And Noda and Tazo still battling. Noda has the inside here, Tazo on the outside, and Noda shuts the door. And Jack shuts the door. So for another sector at least, we're holding on to this same top 4 here. But it's still a very tight battle between all the drivers.
All those battling, I'm thinking of strategy. Because all those battling makes me absolutely is going to take an effect on the tires. Because they're pushing every lap to overtake each other. So we might see some early pit stops and some aggressive tire choices.
What lap did we say the pit stops were going to happen?
I don't really remember. I think it's lap 14 or between 14 and 16. So still a couple more racing laps.
Going through here, Tazo and Noda still not letting go of any battling as they come around the hairpin, and it looks like JJ and Jack not letting go either as JJ gets back behind Jack again, trying to slipstream it through. Tazo has the inside now, Noda on the outside, and they're pushing each other hard. Tazo a little bit better of a run through, it looks like, and they're now side by side. Yellow flag sector 1, as it looks like that is the Red Bull of Maddie who is spun, but going around here, Noda holding Tazo to the outside, and Noda finally getting back on the racing line for another lap. Noda's in the lead. Lap 13 of 36. Watching here, back into the front straightaway DRS Open. It's anyone's game, but we're still only on lap 14, so it's kind of a it's a real make or break for these drivers of what they do. The back half of the grid have all had at least one pit stop, but your top 10 have yet to stop, and you've got the 6th through 10th on medium tires, your top 5 on softs, and I'm sure the softs by now are the tire temps have to be screaming at them like it can't be good for those drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. It can't be good. But I really don't know. These amazing races just took me out of shape. I came with everything prepared and I just lost everything. I really don't know. We might see some starts of pit stops because the soft tires are really fast, but they can't last the whole race. So Bartosz is in an amazing position because of as Jack goes into the pits, he's the first one to pit.
And then Choppa following him into the pits as well.
Yes, Chopper is trying to just to sniff a bit of the results they are playing for. Chopper is just staying behind them, just playing it safe. He might end up in a good position as he jumps Jack on the pits. Oh no, he didn't.
He almost did.
It seemed to jump. So.
And they're not coming out into traffic, but if you're Jack, your teammate's going to be right behind you, so if your teammate can get past Choppa here, you could be having a really good day, and that could open up for Jack, because that puts him, looking at tire strategy, really depending on how these gaps start closing, he could be up in the lead after pit stops.
And I think Trujillo may have a different strategy because he went on the hards. I don't know what he's thinking, but he's going to play in the long run. So when the mediums start to die off and the softs, I think it's going to have an advantage over them. So
Tazo and JJ.
So as JJ and Tazo also pits.
Yep, and we'll see where they come out. Will Jack come out in front of them there and take advantage of the undercut? Jack currently coming through. It's going to be really, really close, and Jack does jump both of them and gets advantage of the undercut. So Jack in a really good position right now, and Jack gets a good run here. Look at that, 3 seconds ahead of Choppa and nearly 4 seconds ahead of Tazo. So he's in a really good spot at the moment.
Choppa goes for it. Side by side between Jack and Choppa, and that's the thing. One opportunistic move from the car behind, you lose all the time that you gain on the pit stop.
Oh, and Choppa having to dive down the inside here, and Tazo is going to try to follow him right through, as Jack has to hold the wide line, which is not the preferred line through that corner as you go through, so Jack's going to dive back in. So Choppa up into P5, and then Jack P6, Tazo P7, and JJ. So we're still back to a different but similar top 4, all mixing it up as Noda goes into the pits to get off of his soft tires. I would guess he's going into medium, so that relinquishes Bartosz, Ignis, and Frederick to be your top 3, but Ignis is into the pits to get off of his mediums.
They had a slow run. Yeah, not had damage. I don't know if it's the whole race, but he changed the front wing, so he's going to lose a bit of time on the pits.
Interesting decision there. Looking at Jack. Jack finally around Choppa for the moment, at least. A little bit of wheel contact there, and Tazo's going to try to follow. Tazo and Choppa side by side there, almost locking wheels, and then JJ's going to follow around as well. So Jack taking big advantage here. Looking at the moment, 3 wide into the corner, and JJ on the inside has to do a bit of a switchback here. Tazo on the inside, though, so it looks like at the moment, JJ taking advantage.
Happened a big crash in the end of the pits between Mati and Zelazny. Really big crash.
You said at the entrance of the pits?
Exit, sorry.
Exit of the pits. Okay. What happened there?
I don't know. They're both in the wall, in the right side. Maybe they bit opportunistic move, and
Oh
uh,
no.
the championship leader is out of the race.
This will be a discussion for later, I'm sure. Somebody's not going to be happy with that.
As Bartosz goes into the hards.
What? Are the hard tires worth it on this track, honestly?
I don't know, but his drivers shows the hards. Yeah, he couldn't go to the soft because it's too early, and he couldn't go to the medium. So he's going to Bartosz and Ignis going to the hards to the finish. An interesting strategy. I don't know if it's the fastest, but they may pull something out of their sleeves. Maybe it's faster and we don't know.
I I feel like you would be better off just running the mediums at this point than you would to go into the hards.
They wanted to take advantage of the safety car, and they basically got a fish stop. He just lost 2 places, and I'm sure that Bartosz is going to try to stick with them. And Jack and Tazo, they love to get close to each other and battle. So if Bartosz plays it safe and plays it smart, I think he's going to be have a good strategy, because Jack and Tazo are going to fight, and when they fight, they're going to burn a lot of rubber. So it's Bartosz could be in a position to win this race.
Bartosz and Ignis, and I think Noda could too. Frederick on softs, which I think is committing himself to a 2-stop because the softs aren't going to go another 18 laps, are they?
If he nurses those tires, if he's all of a sudden turns into Checo Perez, I if he he leaves those tires to the end, as he told me to say it, he's the best driver on this grid. Just I don't know. It's going to be a risky strategy, but if it pays off, it's going to pay off well.
I personally would think being on mediums right now would be the better decision. But again, as I say, I'm not the racing driver, so I don't know what's the best decision.
Me neither. I don't know what's going on the head of these drivers. They suddenly have a strategy on their heads. They have. I know Frederick. He put on the top because he has a strategy. I don't know. I think what he got planned. I don't know if he's having a sort of L plan, but
And you're the racing driver now. Don't forget that. You're the racing driver, so you're the one who's supposed to know.
yeah, I am. I am a racing driver, but sort of a racing driver. But I don't know what these guys are doing. They have a strategy in their heads, but let's see. And Frederick's going to be incredibly fast on those new softs where everybody's on the used-ish harder tires.
Coming around here, safety car is in this lap, so Jack's going to have control of the field here. He's got 1 lap older tires than Tazo, and we watched during Split 2, Spaghetti Mafia waited until the main straight, like, nearly on the grid to get going. I wonder if Jack's going to do the same, and Jack doesn't. Jack said, final corner, I'm gone.
So it's actually a really good place to start, because we're going really slow and just have a rocket ship of an exit. And he puts like 5 tenths to Tazo behind. As Frederick already moves up into P4 and he's making a run for P3. As I think Bartosz has damage.
Oh no, Frederick goes around his teammate there. Bartosz dives way off there, so he's letting multiple drivers get past him there. It looked like he was going to let drivers get past, and it looks like they're not able to here. Almost 4 wide going into the corner here, and everybody breaks 3 wide for just a second there, and Ignis takes advantage of everything, pushes everyone through, and Bartosz is going to drop way back at the moment as he lets Ignis, Noda, Choppa, and Pafixian past him there.
Yeah, I think Bartosz has damage. I saw a bit of the... I didn't see the end plate, to be exact, when Frederick was making his move. So, unfortunately, Bartosz... chance of winning just goes down the drain.
Especially because he's in the pits now, so it was damage. We'll see what tires he goes on here. It's either going to be the mediums or the softs, I'm sure of it. I wouldn't imagine go on another set of hards. As we come through here, Tazo having a run on Jack at the moment. Tazo around the outside, preferred line there. So Tazo holding on to it. Jack trying to have a peek here on the inside, but not close enough, so Jack is just going to set back behind and hold on to P2, so Tazo back up in the lead at the moment.
This is Frederick's dream. He just see those two battle and he can preserve those soft tires to push when it's necessary. I don't know where he took that idea to put on the softs, but I think he got it right.
You didn't give him the idea, did you?
No, I didn't, but there are, what's 15 laps to go. I think I put the software 2 laps behind the safety car. I mean, he could pull out a good result of those tires. They're going to die off earlier than the mediums, but let's see if he can catch up. Enough.
I think at the moment he is holding off on purpose to conserve his tires closer to the end, because the tire delta is going to be where it catches him, and if he can conserve enough, he may be able to take advantage of the tire delta and not lose out big time. Jack, DRS open right on the rear wing of Tazo. Is he going to be close enough for a dive up the inside? He's thinking about it, and not close enough, but he does break a little later, so he may have a little bit better of a run here as we go through. And not at the moment, he doesn't. Yellow flag in sector 2. It looks like that's going to be for the Haas of FOXXXES that is spun out there in that right-hander in the middle sector.
It's a shame. FOXXXES is a really good driver. He could score some points. He still can, but it's going to be harder for him.
Going around here, Jack has another lap to try to get a pass done, and we can see it looks like Dormati and Noda into the pits, so I wonder if there was contact there between them that caused some damage. Jack having a run here on Tazo, trying to have a dive. I think he's close enough to try to do the pass. He backs out of it, though, breaks a little early. FOXXXES DNFing from the session. It doesn't... I'm not sure if he wrecked or if he just DNF'd.
I think he DNF because he's in the pits.
So as we come across here, Bartosz with a 106, fastest lap so far. Jack,
Bartosz is on a mission.
He really is. Looking through Frederick, 2/10 off of Ignis. He had to let Ignis by again. I'm sure that's with the tire conservation. So Frederick on the softs on a good strategy here. 13 laps, he needs to make those last, but he's going to be really hoping for another safety car, I'm sure, by the time the end of the race comes around.
He's playing it safe. Absolutely. He is just going behind Ignis to preserve his tires and use the DRS. Because these two, I don't know if it's a matter of time or a small mistake from one could leave the crash, or they crash into each other. So I don't know, really. As Jack goes down up the inside, it's a bit of a lockup. But amazing from these.
I'm gawking at the battle, I'm not going to lie. It's one of those things where I have to sit back for a second and just enjoy it. Because it's great battling between these drivers as we look here. JJ on a mission, P5, 6/10 off of Frederick. So I'm sure JJ's going to start really sending it around and trying to build his way up. He's got about 4 seconds he needs to make up, though, to get up into the battle for the lead.
I didn't see JJ even, but I'm sure he'll try to push. Maybe get a podium.
That would be
really
awesome.
Close to. It's going to be really. It's going to be awesome, as I thought you were going to say.
That's exactly what I was about to say. It would be awesome to see him up on the podium. Jack up on the top step of the podium would be awesome to see as well. As Jack has a bit of a run here on Tazo, DRS open. Tazo having to reserve his battery. Jack's right on the inside there, and Jack is going to cut it through. A little bit of a squeeze, and Jack up in the lead, but Tazo is going to have a run here. Jack has DRS, though, so he can fight that run back. So Jack up in the lead here on lap 25, but is that going to be the final pass for the lead? I highly doubt it, as Tazo is trying to fight back already.
I don't know really what to say. As Ignis and Jade, Frederick overtakes. I don't know what's happening. Yeah, Frederick goes up to P3 and those soft tires. As I said, if he plays it smart, he can really take advantage of the battles ahead. JJ up to P4, but really close to Frederick. I'm certain that JJ is going to try to overtake Frederick the next couple of laps.
Absolutely. Looking here, Ignis also really close, and John Meister. All of the drivers really, really close to each other as they come through. And there is JJ with the DRS open, having a look around that side. And there's contact between JJ and Frederick.
I don't see damage on Frederick or JJ, but as John Meister goes side by side with Ignis, and Ignis has the better exit and has DRS, but they both had DRS.
Very close battle there, and I thought it almost cost JJ and Frederick everything there. JJ's now up on the podium places. Ignis back. Oh, and JJ spins, and that's going to be a DNF from JJ here on lap 26. I wonder if he did have damage there from his fight with Frederick, but safety car deployed here, and that is not JJ.
Oh no, we commented curse JJ.
Oh no.
Oh no. That is so not right. No, it's one of the best. Frederick goes. Yeah.
Man. Poor JJ.
That is painful to watch.
I
feel so bad for Frederick, for JJ.
Frederick also having to drop back because Frederick had to pit and get on fresh softs there too, so.
Yeah. Safety car came to screw a lot of drivers' races. But I think some drivers are choosing not to pit, so let's see if they can cover the gap and defend from the new soft or the other drivers.
Ignis on hard tires. I was questioning that call earlier, and now I think that might have been a good call because his tires are going to have plenty of life left here, but they are going to be a little slower. So this could be a master strategy here from Ignis and John Meister and Bax and Barthez. Depending on how the fresh softs behind them handle, they could be in a really, really good spot, honestly.
I don't think so, because Tazo and Jack are going to be on a mission to overtake those drivers. And they're going to have to defend like hell to keep those.
Here's another one to mention. Debe in P8 with a fresh set of softs. He could find himself fighting for the podium, depending on how fast these drivers can cut through the old tires.
It's going to be a fun battle to watch those drivers to climb up the positions, but it's not going to be easy for them. I am certain, but those tires aren't in a good position, the mediums and the hards of Ignis. Let's see if how fast they can climb up to the podium position, even a win.
It's going to be a really, really tight fight. We're just now getting formed behind the safety car, so I'd say we got another 2 to 3 laps of safety car here. Strategy, if you're not on softs, you're probably in trouble at the moment. And let's talk about just the drivers that are DNF'd at the moment. Both Red Bulls are out. Insidious, JJ, FOXXXES, and the championship leader, Zalazna, is also out. So it's a really mixed up grid at the moment for who's going to win and how this is going to affect the Drivers' Championship. Of course, Noda and Jack are currently tied for P3. Tazo has a bit of a gap there on them, but it could come down. It's 38 points the gap at the moment, so it could prove that things could get really close as we go. I We're on round 8. We're going to 14 rounds this season, so I don't think it's game over for anyone yet.
I think everyone in the top 8 can win this race. I don't know if we ever had this kind of situation, but it's the matter of how fast and how efficient they are with the overtaking and how efficient they are in the defending. So let's see. I don't know if the mediums are starting to die off, or the hards are still pretty, pretty left. A lot of life left in them. So I mean, Tazo and Jack. Basically, these two are going to be fighting all the way up.
I'm really, really nervous for the first time we go through the hairpin. Turn 2, 3, whatever you want to call it. That hairpin, I'm really nervous for the first time after safety car, which I would guess safety car is coming in next lap, so we'll have 6 laps of racing action.
I tell what's going to happen. It's going to be Carnage. I think FRL. We got used to the FRL being Carnage in the last laps. I mean, it is what what we expect from FRL. And let's see how Carnage is going to be.
I love FRL Carnage. It's just my favorite thing for some reason.
Controlled Carnage. I think everybody's in the spot when you see from the outside, all cars are bunching up together. But inside the car is actually really straightforward because you see a gap and you go there. That's what makes the racing in this league amazing. Because they all take very seriously that quote from Ayrton Senna. If you're no longer off a gap, that is this, you're no longer a racing driver. And all of these drivers respect that. And it's amazing to see. I mean, we the battles for P1 just showed us here that amazing battles are happening. That these drivers are willing to do everything to get a position, even if it's for I don't know for P10, they are willing to do everything to gain that position, and it gives us amazing racing. So safety car in this lap. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the carnage.
You're just now tuning in, you're picking the best time to tune in. 6 laps to go. Safety car coming in for what is hopefully the final time, depending on how this carnage plays out. So Ignis is going to take control of the field on 12-lap-old hards. You can see he is fighting to get some heat into his tires. As we go through, as I said before, we saw Spaghetti Mafia wait till the start-finish line to go. We saw Jack go a little early. When is Ignis going to go? And he is gone already. I don't think John Meister expected it. So Ignis is underway, and we're back underway for some racing here on lap 31 of 36. Drivers diving through. How is this first corner going to look as they hit this first corner? Coming up the hill, it looks like everyone's keeping it fairly clean at the moment. Oh, a little bit of a slide there from Dormati, which is going to let Gamer by here for P12. Jumping back up to the front of the field, though, John Meister having a look at Ignis, who Bax is having a look at, who Barthez is having a look at. So very tight battles here. Tazo and Jack, the first drivers on fresh soft tires, and Tazo having a strong battle here at the moment with, it looks like Barthez and Jack trying to stick his nose in there as well. So Tazo up into P4 now. Jack getting around to get up into P5. Barthez losing 2 positions on those 13-lap-old medium tires. So these soft runners are in a great position. Debe jumping up into P6 as it looks like things are moving around a lot in the midfield.
True here and Gamer crashed in the exit of turn 3. I don't know if one of them spawned and took one out. I don't know, but they are both retired from the race and 12 races left. As
Well,
Frederick goes to the pits, I think he has damage. He was one of the main contenders for the win, so it's also painful to watch. But Estazo goes up to P3, but Bax isn't going to give up that position so easily. And Jack's going to try the outside, but backstage position the cars perfectly to block Jack.
And it looks like Jack is going to have a run here on the inside of backs. Of course, Jack on the fresh, soft tires. So this pass should be fairly straightforward for him as he goes through. He needs to catch back up to Tazo. That way he's close enough in order to fight for the lead. Because it looks like at the pace they're going against John Meister and Ignis, they should have the pace to get around. Just judging from how easy those first couple passes were for them.
I think Jack got a bit held up behind back, so let Tazo like run off a bit and giving some Tazo a bit of space to breathe, not having Jack close to his gearbox all the time. But never say never with these drivers.
Never say never. Such a great phrase for FRL. I feel like we should make that our motto as we go through here. And you can see Tazo thinking about a dive up the inside of John Meister, deciding to reserve it. And he is going to have a peak, though, when he goes down this straightaway here. And DRS open. Of course, John Meister has DRS off of Ignis. But Tazo has the tire advantage. He's going to dive up and... Oh, John Meister had a dive for Ignis as well. Locked up tires. And for Tazo, he was lucky to avoid that. So Tazo up into P2 and only 3/10 off of Ignis at the moment.
It's a matter of time that he overtakes. And Jack is close behind John Meister and going to be his next victim. So it's a matter of time. So, as Ignis goes wide, and that allows Tazo to overtake. I don't know if he's side by side up to T1.
Oh, and you can see John Meister also diving there around Ignis. So Jack needing to make something happen quick here. Just 2 laps to go. Jack has got to get a move on here because he's getting held up big time by Ignis and John Meister's battle, who are still battling it out. And Jack's going to have a 3-wide dive up the inside. Jack up into P2 now, and he's right on the gearbox of Tazo as they come around. DRS is going to be open here for Jack. So Jack finally getting the chance to chase down Tazo here. Just 2 laps to go. And Jack so close to the action and so close to victory.
Ignis almost spun. Yes, I don't know what to say about that overtake from Jack. Amazing one. Two drivers in one corner.
Amazing and risky is what I'm calling it.
Yeah, also risky, but it paid off.
Absolutely. Coming around here. About to start lap 35 of 36. Jack not gaining on Tazo like I thought he would, and also has John Meister behind him to start worrying about. Is John Meister's only 3/10 off, so I don't know what's happened with Jack, but Jack really needs to put the pedal to the metal if he wants to get up into the lead here with just 2 laps to go.
As he's closing on Tazo, so he's playing it smart. He's going to wait to overtake on the last corner to... I think Frederick spun. No, it wasn't Frederick's. It was Bartosz. Spun on the first sector. Yeah, he doesn't have a front ring, so one of the main contenders on the start of the race is unfortunately he's going to be last place after the pit stop he has to do. But chaotic stuff from these drivers.
Chaotic. We called it.
As Frederick also, a couple of bad last laps from the Aston Martin guys. And Jack is up in his gearbox again. He's going to be desperate to overtake him in the last lap.
Jack here, 0.4 of a second down to 0.3. He has the run here. Tazo having to conserve the ERS, and Tazo's going to take the inside, force Jack on the outside. Jack's trying to back up a little bit. He wants the switchback. Tazo breaks a little late, and Jack gets loose off the traction there. So Jack possibly compromising himself here as they run through, but DRS open. Jack's going to dive up the inside, and he's gotten around Tazo there, but Tazo's going to fight back, coming around the outside here. Tazo forced off by Jack, and that means for Tazo, that is his victory gone potentially. But Tazo's still trying to fight back as they go through, coming around middle sector. Tazo not giving up yet. Jack through, no more DRS to help out Tazo in any way, shape, or form. Tazo right on the gearbox here. Is Tazo going to try a lunge? Tazo's not close enough for the lunge. So coming around the corner here, and Tazo bumps Jack in the rear. They're going to drag to the line, and that is going to be Jack who wins it just barely.
What an amazing finish between these two. Minus less than a tenth separating them. What an amazing finish to the amazing race. As Bax retires on the last lap, unfortunately for him, he crashed on the... I think he crashed.
It looks like he crashed on the start-finish straight right there. He did. He spun out of the final corner. Unfortunate for him.
As John Meister finishes P3, Debbie P4, Domati out of nowhere P5, Chopper P6, Ignis P7, Nota P8, Barthes P9. I think Frederick's going to finish P11, P10. Yes. So, chaotic race, half of the grid retires. Wow, I can't say much about this race. As David wins driver of the day. Wow, I can't really know what to say. Amazing stuff.
That was a crazy race to watch, and you could see Jack top place. We know Jack has a lot of pace. It's nice to see Jack back up at the top of everything. So he has 2 podiums this season. This is going to be his first victory. Of course, barring penalties, it didn't look like penalties played a big role, but there's a couple moments that I'm sure are going to be discussed, especially that pass that Jack did. I'm sure there's going to be a conversation about it. It didn't look bad. It's just, there's going to be a conversation.
There always is a conversation. I don't know what to say. A lot of penalties also.
There really was, and I think it's all just track limits, which seems to be kind of the theme here. Just everything's track limits.
Yeah. Well, some of them crashes or speeding in the pit lane, but most of them are exceeded track limits. As I said, it is an easy track to drive, but because it's an easy track, the drivers push more and commit more mistakes. It's what we saw after Grid retired, because they are pushing so hard and such an easy track, because they sometimes go over the limits. It's normal to happen when you're driving the limits for that amount of time. The mistakes is going to happen. It's a matter of time. And I think the ones who survived did an amazing job.
I think next week is going to be a track where we see a lot of different chaos happen again. Next week, Portugal. I'm really excited to see what Portugal brings. I'm always excited to see what FRL brings. So next week we've got Portugal coming in. ADGAMER, any advice for the drivers on Portugal a week early?
Practice. I mean, Portugal is a really hard track to drive, and we saw last season I thought there was a lot of crashes. I mean, and there's also a lot of opportunities to overtake, but it is a hard track. Especially sector 2 is going to be harder for driving side by side, and it's going to have a lot of attention to the drivers. Me being from Portugal, I can't wait to see these drivers tackling those corners that are known to me. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see.
I can't wait to see it either, but this is going to be where we round out this week. Exciting split 2, exciting split 1. I can't wait to see next week round 9 next week coming up, so we're well into the back half of the season. I appreciate everyone joining. Again, our thoughts are with everyone in Ukraine. FRL stands with Ukraine. If you want to support, check out the top link here on our Twitch channel, and that will give you plenty of ways to support Ukraine and help them. This is going to be where we sign out for this week. Join us next week, same time, same place. Be sure to follow, be sure to subscribe, and check out our YouTube for previous races. And feel free to join our Discord using the link below. Would love to have you. Follow us on Twitter, every social that every other league, every other organization has. Join us. We love to see the interaction. And this is going to be where we sign out. We'll see everyone next week.